Setting up the impact. The first thing you want to do is go to the menu system. Enter in the set rate for each additive. You can name the additive, simply hit the button, enter the name that you want to call it, enter the set rate in parts per million, and escape. Do that for all 4 of them, and then exit. Go back to the menu, set up your load arms. In this case, we only have one load arm to inject to. So we got load arm 1, and we called it 101. We set the meter value at 1, which is each pulse coming in is worth 1 gallon or 1 liter. Next, set the configuration for the injector. Each injector, again, can be named. You set the K factor, the no flow amount, which is how many injections do we miss before you get a no flow alarm. Set the leak amount in cc's. That will give you how many cc's goes through the block without an injection permissive. In this case, we have it set at 25 cc's. High set point and low set point are the percentage that you will sound the alarm at. Typically, we send it 10% over or 10% under. Frequency of injection is how often do you want to inject. In this case, we have it set for 40, which would mean after 40 gallons or 40 liters, we will inject additive into the system. You will set up all 4 injectors, however you want them to be. Injector assignment. This is where you tell this injector, injector number 1, that I want to use additive number 1. The arm, since there's only one arm, we leave it at arm 1. Enter. That will take you to injector 2. We tell injector 2 to use additive 2, which is LQD 52, and etc. Injector 3 is 3, injector 4 is 4. And you're done. Modbus monitor is not applicable in this situation. Modbus monitor is to monitor communications between several different impacts. Configuring the AccuLoad would be where we go next. This is a live monitor of what's happening in the AccuLoad. When the AccuLoad starts, it will display the recipe number that the driver selected. Transaction in progress will turn green as soon as the transaction starts. Current product volume is the current product loaded into the truck so far. Here you will set injector, which recipe do you want it attached to. In this case, they're all attached to recipe number 1. So when the AccuLoad starts, if I've selected recipe 1, all those lights will turn green. All 4 injectors will start injecting. This is the setup. This is our AccuLoad, that's our impact. On the communications, you can see we are wired up to the RS-485 network. That cable is running over to the impact, and it is wired up to the RS-485 on the impact. This is just for communications between the impact and the AccuLoad. The Ethernet cable coming off of here goes around to the hub that we will show you in a minute. This is the data switch that we're using for our Ethernet. All the AccuLoads, all of the impacts come into this switch. This is the Titan data acquisition. This computer will be sitting in your office so that you can have a general view of what's going on. At this point here, we show all 9 impacts that are out there. That's the main menu. You can see the name that you have named each injector. This status will turn green when it starts loading. The totalizer is a non-resettable totalizer that will increase as you load. This is the alarm light that will turn red if there's an alarm. If you have an alarm and you need to look at one in particular impact, we have them grouped in 3s. There you can look at the first 3 impacts. There's your status. It'll tell you whether or not you have a permissive. This is the value of each shot in cc's that's being injected. This is the amount of additive that has been loaded on this load. This would be the product that has been loaded so far on this load, and there is your general additive totalizer. Any alarm that appears, these lights will turn red. The no flow and the leak alarm will shut down the AccuLoad. We'll send a signal to the AccuLoad, and the AccuLoad will come back and tell you there's a problem. You have to set your AccuLoad up to shut down. Here we'll give you a display of what could be a possible cause of your leak. A high and a low flash off and on depending on whether you ran over your additive a little bit, especially when you have your limit set low. So we don't react to those, we just notify you of them. The no flow and the leak are the important ones that will shut you down. When you go down to configure and rates, here you can set your rates per million, parts per million, remotely to the impact. You can also set that product factor that we talked about earlier remotely. The K factor and the frequency of injection can all be set remotely for each impact. When you've been running for a while, you can come down to the impact files. When you click on it, an FTP file will come up, will list a directory of files that are available to look at, and they will give you, for example, the setup that you have on the one injector. There's your K factor. I'm not sure what all we've got here. I'd have to look at it again, but you have, this will give you the files that are on the impact on that card that you can look at. Cons: if you only have 1 or 2 impacts, you don't want to be polling all of them. It'll just slow down your communications. So you can pick which impacts you want to read and write to by enabling them here. Here we have all 9 connected. So we will enable all 9 of them. What was it? 208.